The remake is here, and with it the cylinder burns anew, with the fires of life and the fires of death. This is Seabrick's Season 3, Episode 46, Drenched in the Blood of the Dispossessed. Greetings all to the first episode of the remake. The world has been remade as best as Lunar could do in a smaller map, with the unit issues fixed, the civs trapped in total war, and the leaders apparently replaced after the whole escape thing from last episode. Finally, the sounds of war march once more, and the world will be set ablaze. I'm Orange, aka Orange Chrissy, the one who makes the Poland Ball comics, though I invite others to do the same so I don't have to say the one anymore. I did not follow what I said in my previous introduction of finding a therapist again, but it just be like that sometimes. Just got a raw dog mental illness. Maybe not the best idea, but that doesn't matter for now, because we got an episode full of action, I sure hope, and joy, for some people at least. Please, Mojave, you can do it. And you're all now stuck here on this journey with me. So I hope you enjoy the narration and the show. Larkus hitting us with the rare Mark II content. Seriously, what the heck? This is a follow-up from their previous Diggers of Batacaloa post, one made 7 years ago, one made 2 years ago. Oh, goddess, it's been at least 7 years. Me? Putting my own comic as one of the OCs? Unheard of. I would never. You can't pin this on me. I'm innocent. I didn't do it. Please, you have to believe me. Oh, fuck, it's the cops. They won't catch me this time. Okay, apparently I did use So Fly as a rhyme for the Ko-Fi slide when I did episode 5, but that was ages ago, so no one else remembers it. So I should be safe to get away with it this time, right? Yeah. Anyways, thanks to these people for donating to help make it easier to run the game. The Incans seem to be the #1 pick going into the remake, and, well, they sure seem to be in a strong position. So good job, Rankers. Give yourself a pat on the back for this one. Isabel of the frozen Burgos, the unholy city of snow, decides that fascism is needed moving forwards. Whether this is to keep up appearances or because she believes they really are a superior people for living in Antarctica, we may never know. Either way, the city remains isolated from the world, surrounded by ice, almost impossible to take. May it live on in eternity. The year is 2040 AD, also known by the subs calendar as Turn 480. Life begins. It probably won't last that long. Let the fighting continue. Kagon sits on another icy throne, on the opposite end of the world to Burgos, contemplating what's happening. Brought into this world, he finds himself already on the brink of death, and seemingly much closer than any Gokturk before him. What was his purpose? Did it even matter that he was brought into this world if he was just meant to die? These are the thoughts that weigh on the Khan as he hopes that the Arapaho are kind to him in his defeat. Yeah, so the World Congress forgot to be turned off in the remake, so we have a little bit of that. It, of course, is still fine in the grand scheme of things, just it's a bit annoying for Lax to have to deal with running the game, though that is over, so it's all good now. Also, it should be noted, as the previous slide indicated, the remake is total war all the time. There is no peace for our competitors, only war, blood, and machines, and maybe, just maybe, a little bit of gay war angst. Though, now that I've said it, now I have to write something at some point. One part of the World Congress being active is that it means these projects can happen. Here it seems Lax is proposing the International Asteroid Mining Conference. For the civ that wins the project, they get some nice yield bonuses. Pretty Nose declares that they need a new religion in the Arapaho lands. and decides on Catholicism as the religion of choice. I choose to believe it still has the nationalism animals pantheon. A girl can dream. This shot also gives us a better shot at the Arapaho core. The unit density is so much better than previously, and they are definitely in a good position to use that military to conquer a lot of lands. Yupanqui, seeing Arapaho found Catholicism, decides he needs a new religion of his own. His advisors rejected his proposal of naming it the Killuminati, so he instead went with their choice. Well, so much lamer, completely uncool and boring, he thought to himself as he dejectedly went back to having millions of lives under his command. Ataturk follows the trend, but happens to found the same religion that they had adopted previously, Sunni. It's also the religion that Turkey follows in real life. Why the other two didn't really do the same, we may never know. 2 turns into the remake, the Gokturks find themselves dead. They honestly survived way too long into total war. It's kind of a miracle. They started off strong, but just never really found a good footing, rarely declaring wars and struggling against Han. But they survived longer, all the way to 12th place. So who's laughing now, Wu? Who's laughing now? I lied in the slide title. There's not really any terror going on in the Indian Ocean. A few ships are harassing a Tauro, but, neither side has that much, especially in the way of ships. But while Afghanistan tries to take a Tauro, it seems Timor-Leste is trying to take Salkarne, 2041 AD, turn 482. Kind of a weird thing to name a city, I gotta say, but hey, I don't judge. Good luck, Timor. I'm rooting for you. Timor-Leste takes Bandar Lampung off Afghanistan, and both Afghanistan and Timor-Leste attack Najran, hoping to nab the other colony. I feel like Timor-Leste has the advantage in the South Indian Ocean, but you never know. Maybe Ahmed Durrani is preparing something secret to take it all back, but it seems unlikely. A quick electric boogaloo, ha! Bet you were expecting me to put it near the end, like last time, but I got y'all. El Rip Bozo, plus Get Fucked, plus I Was Always Against You, plus Castile is outliving you. Turkey jumps down the east coast of Africa, taking 2 cities off of Timor-Leste, 1 city off Yemen, and even 1 off Afghanistan and Arabia. Maybe Ataturk should have prepared a bit better for this conquest, as none of the gains on the coast, at least, seem tenable. Yemen already recaptured Isandlwana, and Timor looks to surround Kilwa Kisiwani and Mbarara. Pretty Nose sends a task force right into the middle of the Northern German Empire, right to Baltimore. Now, they also sent a number of troops to Sukkertoppen, and hey, if there's anything I've learned this past week, it's that tops do need some sucking. So maybe they will be successful in this assault. It would be very nice for Brandenburg to start losing these lands. Also, Turkey just has a bunch of units and ships in the North Sea for some reason. Maybe they'll do something. Who knows? Ignore what is said at the top of the screen. That's a surprise tool that'll help us later, aka next slide. But for now, we just get to witness the Incan attack on the Arapaho Caribbean. They look to have the numbers advantage, and Fusagasugá is down to yellow, but they have, no planes at all. And the planes Arapaho have are beating down on Kalakasa, Hunza, and Kokraimoro. Yupanqui is gonna have to hope this invasion goes quick, before the planes turn things around. Turkey isn't the one to take Isandlwana. Instead, it's Afghanistan. For some reason, Ahmed decided that that's the best way forward. It's a capital, sure, but it's completely undefendable, so that's just wasting a unit, really. Also, Mali manages to capture Sugamuxi, one of Kayapo's remaining cities. Maybe next time we see Kayapo cities taken, it'll be when they're dead. On the other side of the Arapaho Inca front, Arapaho is sending a massive army against Guiyang, Ahaquahat, and Selye Ayaita. Like, damn, that is a massive army. I don't see much hope in Inca keeping any of those cities, to be honest. Maybe us rankers putting Inca first was a mistake. My boys, my poor boys. Finally, with the unit production bug fixed and the smaller map, it seems it is finally time to say goodbye to Mojave's Polynesian lands. Now they just have a bunch of other islands. We get another shot of Afghan half of Madagascar, and it really shows how bad of a position Yemen is in. Already down to 2 cities, with another about to fall in the next turn. Al-Sulehi must be praying to her not as of yet decided god or gods that she can make it out of this alive. She won't, of course, but maybe it'll buy her a few more turns. The prayers were answered immediately as she takes back Isandlwana and breaks into Kilwa Kisiwani. Will these hold? No. But we're in the It's So Back arc for her, so let's just keep that hype going. Taiz is retaken, though likely to fall again soon, and Mazar-i-Sharif is taking some hits. For now, it seems Turkey has the upper hand, but if Afghanistan can bring some of those units in southern and eastern India over, they can contest things pretty well. The northeast coast of Asia is once again up in flames, just like last time. The battle between 4 separate powers, or, well, 3 powers and Mojave, but I for one will still consider them a power. Arapaho has the most units in the area and is trying to attack Turkey, but Turkey has the second most and can likely defend it. Afghanistan has very few in the area, and Mojave has most of their forces around, which is not very much. This will likely be a bit of a slog. If I was a betting man, and to be clear, I don't bet, nor am I a man, but if I was, then I'd still bet that Inca would hold Recife. But you have to admit, it'd be really funny if Mali took Recife again, like they did against the Kayapo, and kept it. Like, that'd be really, really funny. So let's hope it happens. Fozzy's heard from his friend that it's not easy being green, but over here in the Pacific, the opposite may be true. The Incans have gathered quite a large naval force to push into Timor lands and already have taken Wagga Wagga. Timor really needs to build some more ships if they want to defend against this onslaught. But they should also maybe prepare some nice remarks about Tupac, just in case they don't. Waka Waka. Get it? In case. Inca, say. Good one, me. Great job. Keep it up. We get the full view of Timor-Leste taking Songkhang off of Afghanistan, and Ahmed doesn't seem to have enough to really put enough pressure on the city to secure it again. But not just that, we also get Guzmao taking Klobane, Isandlwana, Kilwa Kisiwani, Sofala, Mbarara, and Kampala. Absolutely massive turn. I assume the next slide will show those sweet, sweet African gains. And with that, Yemen is dead. Timor-Leste has swept up the last of their holdings, their last ditch to stay alive. But down it goes, subsumed into the red and yellow machine. The one true ruler of the Indian Ocean will be Guzmao, and none can stop him. Arwa al-Sulehi gets sent back to the sub, crying into her hands, weeping for the empire that never was, weeping for a time when Yemen had hope and power, a time never to be seen again. Yemen was honestly really great this game. The fact that they managed to get so much science put them quite ahead of most of their neighbors, but alas, they couldn't put that advantage to enough use. Turkey took most of Arabia before Yemen could settle or take it, which really set them back, and they failed to attack others when they needed to, or when Turkey was weak. They spent much of the game occasionally picking at Kilwa rather than properly sweeping them, and then taking on Pandya, Uganda, and Afghanistan. They had a lot of potential throughout this game, but just couldn't put it to use. RIP in 11th. Despite the large Incan presence in the east, Arapaho bursts through, taking Tiwanaku and Cocaimoro from the wealth of Incan units. I'm going to be honest, things are feeling not great for Inca, my ranking dashed against the iron rocks of Arapaho's guns. It's unlikely that they will hold these cities, but it really shows how faltering the Incan lines are. Timor-Leste, with their superior navy, or really just a navy, moves into the southern Malian coast and nabs Ouagadougou right from under Keita's nose. Mali is still focused on taking Benevento and Sar from Turkey, which, to be fair, it seems they will probably succeed at, but it means they've built no navy, so is just bleeding to Timor-Leste in the south and Inca in the west. Timor-Leste has a good navy on the other side of their empire as well, managing to take 2 cities off of the Inca and splitting Aotearoa once more. They also have 72 planes compared to the only 12 Incan planes that I can see, and those planes have done a good job at chipping down 4 cities to black: Waitomo, Pu'Ninetinwa, Pirothrigia, and Iog-24ra. I feel it won't be long until more fall. Call it back, revert course, retract the eulogy, quick, quick! Things are fine, fine. Okay, yes, Arwa al-Salehi has clawed herself back to life, against what I had thought. Now, they won't last beyond this turn, it seems. They have a single robot infantry guy and a settler. But alas, they are alive yet again, so I will have to write a new eulogy next time we see the Yemenless husk of Madagascar. Edit from me in 25 slides. I did not do a second eulogy. I forgot about it immediately after going to the next slide. The joke was going to be me just copy-pasting the previous eulogy again, so pretend I did that in about 5 slides, when the minimap shows them dying again, and then, laugh really hard, because it was a good joke that you appreciated and found hilarious. Thanks. Afghanistan and Turkey flip around a few cities, or more so, Turkey pushes all the way up to Herat and Mazar-i-Sharif, and Afghanistan pushes back a little bit. So maybe it's less crisscross and more just a slide to the right with a little take it back now, y'all, or reverse reverse. Ahmed also takes that random Antarctic city again, for some reason. Bro, just, take a city near your other cities, so you can actually have a chance at keeping it. The Arapaho push forward in Central America, taking Ahaquahat and Celia-Ita, pushing on Guiyang and Guatemala City. They continue to march south. The Incans aren't putting up much of a fight, Biscay said, putting down the hyper-binoculars. Hey, they defended Mexico for 3 years. It's better than some, her partner responded. Gotta give them credit for that. She loudly sighed. It feels like it's only been about 25. Senete ni Ehise paused from her controller screen and looked at Biscay. 25? 25 what? I don't know how to explain it. It's just 25. That means nothing. You're not making any sense. Let's get back to work. Come on. You know these automatons do all the work themselves. We're just sitting on the sidelines. Biscay leaned back to lie down. We have an important job. We have to keep watch to make sure these bots don't malfunction. But it's so boring. Sene Tini Heise turned to face her partner again, and in a stern voice questioned, "Do you want to die on the front lines?" No. But you get what I'm saying, right? I don't. I'd rather have you next to me alive than turned into a paste by one of their biotroopers or terminators, said Sene Tini Heise matter-of-factly. Biscay suddenly teared up a bit. You're too kind to me. What'd I do to deserve you? Besides being as Pretty Nose? Oh, your compliments are too much, she said, lightly batting Sene Tini Heise's face. But really, it feels like I haven't done anything. We've just always been together. Are you talking time nonsense again? What? No. Maybe, she said sheepishly. Look, you have to admit, it's weird, right? As if everything past a few years ago is in a haze. Yep, on your time nonsense again, she concluded. Come on, get back on task. We still have a job to do. Sene Tini Heise brought them back on track, though she couldn't quite shake what her partner said from the back of her mind. It was a bit hazy, but Biscay was speaking nonsense. They definitely had a history past 3 years ago. She definitely lived it. Right? Mali does in fact take Benevento and Sar. Still haven't taken back Ouagadougou, but hey, it's something. Turkey really just isn't putting up a fight for their African lands, which I, for one, am happy about. I think Turkey's kind of just had a walk in the park this game, so it's just nice to see Mali beat them. I hope the gains continue. And by gains, I mean Timor-Leste's gains, of course. Let's go, Guzmao! Lamau, even. Bzz. I'm Tiago Varela here, reporting from outside WA-20J, where an Incan Tyrannosaurus Rex has attacked the city. We don't know how a singular dinosaur has breached the city limits, and many are looking to the government for answers. But since they haven't commented yet, we turn to the people for answers. Camera pan as Varela holds out the microphone. Excuse me, citizen, what are your thoughts on... Ah! It's coming! Camera pans back to Varela, shaking every few seconds. The terror in his eyes. This is what the government is letting stand, by not responding immediately with help. A roar is heard. Can we be sure that this is an Incan dinosaur? It's hard to say. We must be ever... Varela partially disappears as the jaws of the T-Rex dissect him in two, leaving a pair of bloody legs. Okay, so the city's name getting the damage numbers put into it is a running joke, but also that city hasn't shown up this episode without numbers in front of it, and I'm not going to go check the Reddit post that might show it properly, nor read ahead to see if it's there. So for now, I don't know the name, and neither do you. Also, fine, I guess I do have a eulogy for Kaipo. Damn, I did not like them. They had a busted start with their uniques in position, making it incredibly hard to attack them and giving them huge amounts of population and science super early on. Then they just did so little with that. Like, they fought Brazil. That was their biggest thing for a while, and Brazil was weak as fuck. Then they fought Rio de la Plata, who was similarly super weak compared to the way to teched up Kaipo. The first time they had a proper war with the Inca, they lost, despite the Inca being weaker as well, just still strong enough to be an actual fighter, rather than just a pushover at the bottom of the board. Though my favorite moment was when the much weaker Malians took Recife and kept it after peace. That was fucking hilarious. Kaipo, the entire game was just turtle up to be powerful later, and then not doing enough to go through with the be powerful later part. Glad I, the resident Kaipo hater, can be the one to send them off so I can influence everyone's final perceptions of them. Rest in all the pieces, Metuktere. I laugh at your demise. Arapaho continue to surround Guiyang, though they haven't quite taken it yet. More sadly, they are also surrounding Kamanhulia, and there's a good chance they take it too. My poor Mojave and Iritaba. They deserve to keep their Hawaiian holdings. Please let Irataba Miku survive. Side note, I do gotta say, it feels pretty weird to greatly badmouth Rowney. Like, sure, I hate him and his civ in this game, but the dude is a real person who is still alive, who seems like a great dude, trying to fight for some really good causes, and his own people's lands. So, like, real Rowney Metuktere, you're pretty cool. Keep it up. I hope if you, for some reason, ever read this, that you're doing well. Honestly, no one in the Timorese government is really sure how Captain Cirrus was able to take Huari, but she did, and now Timor-Leste is up 5 cities since 2 slides ago, having retaken Hua 24, Aotearoa with Pukawa, and pushing into Pirongia, Waitomo, and Huari. Maybe, if the Timorese people look back to this time in history, they will see pages and pages dedicated to the brave maneuvers of Captain Cirrus and the fantastical assault she led in the South Pacific. Maybe they'll also see a funny video of a guy named TV getting eaten by a T-Rex after being an idiot with 0 situational awareness, and then click instead over to a better video detailing Cirrus's exploits with well-animated graphics and professional voiceover, rather than clown music over a dumb newsman. Isabella continues to live out in the tiny city of Burgos, ruling over the tiniest bit of snow and a whole bunch of ice. Really hoping no one gets the funny idea to paradrop a unit into that open space. Castile better live on. The frozen dream shall never thaw. Six cities fall to Ataturk. We only see one here though, Cottbus in Denmark. Also in this slide is Arapaho, still not taking Sukkertoppen or Baltimore, the one and only home to Big Bell Hell's car dealership. Some other cities taken that we, for some reason, do not see next slide are Benevento and Sar from the Malian Sahara, Mbarara and Pemba from Timor-Leste's East African holdings and islands, and Mazar-i-Sharif from Afghanistan. Mali pushes a bit into Arapaho by taking the nearby city of Sugamuxi, formerly Kayapos, and also somehow sneaks in to take Fusagasuga from the Inca. Be proud of yourself, Kaita, and don't look to the Eastern Front. If we don't see on screen those 2 cities fall, then it's like they never fell at all. They also take Bagbogadou, but same principle applies, except maybe it's counterproductive here. It seems Captain Cirrus' work was a bit for naught, though it will be remembered for ages, as the Incans take back way too many cities. Wagga Wagga, Ngarawahia, Waitomo, Tucanu, Narungdera, Way Forward, and Manton Par, which Timor-Leste had apparently taken last time. Good work, Yupanqui. This front really feels like a proper war. Constant back and forths, no idea who will win. I hope it's me. I can win, right? Yeah, I'm gonna win. So, Atauro has somehow managed not to fall this entire time. I have no idea how. What are you doing, Ahmed? Did you forget to bring melee ships? Probably. Guzmao makes a big move, not just in ensuring Atauro is no longer in danger and taking a city on the subcontinent, Tirunelveli, but also pushing against Turkey in East Africa and Arabia, taking Taiz and Ib, along with retaking Mbarara and Pemba off-screen but on the minimap. It seems, perhaps, Ahmed's grasp on this part of the world is starting to be put into question a bit. Not the best turn for Ahmed, as he also loses Kovu Aksi and Peshawar to Turkey, Peshawar being the big city next in West India, next to their capital, and the big block sticking out on the minimap. Though Turkey also takes some of Timor-Leste's gains as well. I know we all were looking at Afghanistan like the underdog that actually might pull it off, but oof, it's not looking good right now. Why does Turkey get all the city capture notifications but others don't? Discrimination and prejudice, that's why. Show me Guzmao taking like 10 cities at once. Come on. Despite all these gains for Turkey, possibly the leader, definitely one of the top strongest, Ataturk is still losing in Africa, to Mali. Mali, the more underdog than Afghanistan Mali, the still unsure if they have finished the tech tree Mali. Maybe they have, I don't know. They couldn't take back their core city of Ouagadougou for too many turns Mali. They sending a giant army at Thebes and will probably take the city Mali. Ataturk is throwing away cities so close to his core to continue his conquest in the east. Will it work out? Only time will tell. Or me by the end of the episode. Hopefully. As the Mojave musician flees Kamanhula, they put together a song sent out on the radio waves into the unsteady seas, hoping they are heard before the Arapaho Navy finds their small boat. The simple melody sings out, "Led to rot in treachery, bury me in irony. Good night with a song of love. When I wake I'm born again. No one left to mourn my end. Shout from the other side, sink me down below." Yes, I know it says Tegdaust instead of the slide title of TegQuest, but I read it as TegQuest at first, so I'm putting that in there because I think it's funny. TegQuest. The quest for Teg. Anyways, Inca has finally decided to make a new front for themselves and push somewhere they had not yet. West Africa. Now, sure, they are still fighting in and kinda losing in Central America, but hey, they got spirit. And that's what really matters in this game. On one hand, Mojave retook Ido Kavaire and managed to keep the great musician alive, as well as took a city in China off of Afghanistan. On the other hand, more proof of Timor-Leste's dominance and continuing presence in the Pacific. If those ships turn north, they could take all those islands. For now, a victory, but I wonder how much longer. Ataturk really is going hard on that strategy, as they have lost the remnants of their Indian Ocean presence. They keep flipping Pemba down south of Madagascar for a while, but that seems to be over too. Timor-Leste is pushing into Arabia, Mali is breaking down the doors of Thebes, Turkey has no units around. This is just... what are you doing, Ataturk? What's your strategy here? You need to defend your core, but instead you are practically inviting them in. I was right not to support you. You know, the one thing I excuse me for a second. Two meme references last slide? Good job, me. Keep it up. But alas, it seems I must talk about it. Turkey has a huge turn, taking 8 cities on all fronts. 2 off Timor-Leste, pushing them off of Arabia, 3 from Mali in the Med, 2 off Afghanistan, and 1 retaking Cottbus from old Frederick William. No idea how well any of these will hold, but damn, that's a big turn. Gusmao is also pushed out of India, with Ahmed even taking Darb 21ga. But Afghanistan is looking very dry for units, so I think Timor-Leste will be able to push back and probably make their way into Tirunelveli, Darb 21ga, and Madurai soon enough. Kaita is forced to retreat units to retake Bari and Benevento. And yes, they had to. It's totally not like they could have just used a few units to take them and keep the rest focused on taking Thebes. Preposterous. But they fall a bit short of taking Palermo for whatever reason. They still look like they'll be fine and will be able to push on Thebes again, but oof, not the best look. Now Arapaho gets the huge list of city captures. The most important, of course, is that they took Hamhung from Mojave, since that's what is in the slide. Very sad. I am weeping and sobbing and crying. How could they do this? We will never know. The monsters. Maybe they read the gay angst earlier and decided they wanted me to be angsty instead? Oh, who knows. Anyways, they also took Hinoyama and Ido-Kuvaire off Mojave, Hinoyama being on the main island, and I think their previous capital. Someone else check that one for me so I don't have to go back a few slides. Following, we also get a shot of some of the other conquests, these in the east. Valladolid and Oviedo fall into Pretty Nose's hands, getting her a small foothold in Europe. We can also see, very slightly, and it happened like 10 slides ago it seems, but Baltimore also fell. And no, you can't stop me repeating terrible jokes. Anyways, since the next slide also doesn't show it, the other cities that fell are all Incan cities in Central America. Choqquequirao, Calacasa, Tiwanaku, Guatemala City, and Fusagasugá. One of those is on the Galapagos. They've pushed to the Panama City and retook those two Caribbean islands. Things are not looking good for the Incans. Jeez, this game doesn't like it when I make statements about it. Yupanqui counters the previous turn by taking 3 cities back off the Arapaho and 4 off of Timor-Leste, taking the city near where Sydney in real life is, the Tasmanian one, somehow Maingu Maragu, which Timor-Leste shouldn't have held when it was behind like 3 Incan cities in this pick, and a random Antarctic city in the South Atlantic. I said this before, but this is a really good total war. So much back and forth. Hamhung is back in Mojave hands, though, woof, things aren't looking good for my boys. Back down to 3 cities. Can't believe Afghanistan didn't let them keep Nanjing. Hinoyama is still not returned, and very few units left. Kaita, you good? My guy? My dude? You lost Bari and Benevento again, and still haven't retaken Palermo? What are you doing? Where's the Lion of Africa when we need him most? Is Kaita even the Lion of Africa? I have no idea. What are we calling him? Maybe Mali is more like the large house cat of Africa, or the aggressive but still domesticated and gets named Spot to an upper middle class white family in Missouri dog of Africa? Okay, so funny thing with the minimap, if you've been paying attention. Since we last saw a proper Timor-Leste front, which was 3 slides ago in the South Pacific, Timor-Leste took 4 cities over there, pushed back into southern India, then took the last southern Indian city along with the Bengal city, broke into Arabia again, and took Ouagadougou and Malanje from Mali again. Quite the active lads, really making those of us supporting them feel good. And now we get that shot of the South Pacific, where we see Inca has rebounded and marched into Oahu. Finally, we get that elusive city name, and reuniting Aotearoa, but not retaking Huari, or maybe they haven't had the chance yet? Though I don't think that's the case. This front continues to be a bloodbath, but hey, Captain Cirrus is back in taking cities she probably shouldn't be. Things are really not looking good for old Ahmed Shah Durrani. Nasi 20 AD fell, almost pushing Afghanistan entirely into China. Dhaka will likely fall next turn, and Khost and Avimota, praise be, look to soon be on the chopping block as well. Well, you can't say Ahmed didn't try at least. And I gotta say, they've had one hell of a try. Somehow, old Frederick Willie has nabbed Cottbus back from the Turks, and even broken into Finland in Klaipeda. They have some city hidden by text surrounded, but haven't damaged it yet. Is this also indicative of Turkey fumbling a front? Hopefully, but also not hopefully, because fuck Brandenburg, I hope Arapaho finally gets up and rolls them over from the west. I said from the west, not to the west. For fuck's sake, Pretty Nose, you're supposed to be on my side here, because I decided it as such, so stop attacking my beloved Mojave and go fight Brandenburg. Look, You lost Hinoyama to them, so just say that's it, and turn all those Nexai back home. Please? So it seems it was just a normal back and forth, as Turkey has responded by retaking Klaipeda and also managing to get into Eberswalde. It should be noted that Brandenburg has like 5 planes in frame. Turkey has 62. That's not good for Willie. Will Willie wiggle his way out of this one? Probably not, but it'll still take a while for him to get eliminated so he can still be an annoying thorn in Turkey's side for a little bit longer. Also, the International Asteroid Mining Conference fails. RIP lacks attempts to colonize asteroids. The Red Sea is called the Red Sea not only because of the cyanobacteria Trichodesmium erythraeum found in it that can turn it reddish-brown, but also because Timor-Leste's units are filling it up in a massive push, and because it's filled with the blood of these war machines fighting. But yeah, whew, that's a lot of units. Gusmao takes Herat, is pushing on Korkai, is surrounding Sana'a and Taiz, and might even be able to grab Sar, too. Turkey really thinks their core is up in Russia, don't they? The Arapaho move into the Galapagos again, but really this past slides since we last properly saw Arapaho's front lines shows them mostly having lost land, such as Sukkertoppen in Greenland. Yes, I will use whatever excuse I can to keep saying that name, it's hilarious, and Valladolid in Iberia. Back against the Inca, it really seems breaking into the continent is hard. The Incans can just so much easier get units to the cities, so there's just a bunch of flipping of the coast, but no moving further in. Mali retakes Ouagadougou and Benevento, but also have lost Valladolid to Brandenburg. Still haven't secured Kangbraba, and just keep flipping it. Have lost Tegdaust, and still haven't secured Bari or Palermo. You were at the walls of Thebes, Kaita. Come on. Step things up a little. Push. But seriously, if they actually can take Thebes, it would be so funny. The Arapaho push hard into Hawaii and southern Japan. They have a large amount of units protecting the islands and look to likely take the rest of Mojave's lands soon. At the very least, they don't look likely to lose these islands anytime soon. There's a lot of damaged cities and a lot of mixed up units here. Choqquequirao, Calocasa, Hunza, Coquimoro, Recife, and Rio de Janeiro are all in the red and black, with a spattering of Arapaho units tossed around that could all potentially grab a city. More concerning for the Inca, as I think I've mentioned sometime earlier, I forget, it's a new day and I don't get enough sleep ever, is that the Inca do not have enough planes. The most planes they have in this pick is Tiwanaku, which is on the front line, and in danger of having all its planes destroyed. I just don't think they can hold on to a sustained defense with these sorts of numbers. Old Gusmao makes a strong play this turn, nabbing 4 cities off of Turkey. Mazar-i-Sharif, Peshawar, Dhaka, and Korkai. They already owned Herat. On screen this looks really good, and seems like a fantastic push by Timor-Leste. Now, whether or not they hold those is another thing, and they probably won't, but it does bode well for Gusmao. If the line stays around here, it'll be very nice in keeping Turkey down and keeping them up. I love this city name. It amuses me so much. Baltimore, sadly, remains Brandenburger and looks like it will remain Brandenburger until much later. Maybe Turkey will somehow take it before Arapaho comes back to take it. That'd be funny. Annoying, but funny. Either way, Pretty Nose seems pretty allergic to reinforcing this front of hers. Kaita has a really good turn, retaking Wagadu, Malanje, and Salerno, as well as Palermo and Cangaba last turn, and retaking and then re-losing Sar. Bari remains barely alive. More importantly, at least for me, is that Thebes is back into the low red, with a real chance at taking it. Also a real chance of their units being wiped out and having to build an assault team again. But hey, it'd be like that sometimes. Frederick William tries to push a bit further, but is met with naval resistance. Both sides need more units in the area if they want any real progress, and Arapaho does have more ships off to the west, so maybe they will get used, but who knows? Not I. I am but a mere jester, saying sweet nothings into the ears of all of you, bringing nonsense to the world and making everyone question why I'm like this. Good question. Won't be answered. Wow, look at all those cities Guzmão took. Surely none are just cities they have retaken and are in a worse position than they were last time we saw them, right? Right? I kid. Actually an adult, but you get the idea. They are down 2 cities in India, 1 in Iran, 1 in Yemen, and swapped 2 cities in the Pacific with the Incans. So much back and forth. So much bloodshed. I should do a narrative for the next shot over here, so that I don't have to repeat basically the same things, and can practice writing more instead of the word gibberish I normally say, though I guess if you're reading all this, you're fine with my word gibberish. Edit from the end of the episode about 2 hours later. I forgot. Kala Casa and Fusagasiga are retaken from the Arapaho. The city hidden by the Please Wait button also got taken, and then retaken last turn. Shows the Arapaho are really pushing further. Like I had said with Timor-Leste in India, but over here with the Arapaho and the Incan lands, and yeah, words. Wow, I really have just had 3 slides in a row with me being meta talking about my narration. Maybe that's a new record for me. I'm not going to check, so let's just say it is. Good job, me. Pat on the back. Thanks, me. So, of course, first things first is that Timor-Leste has retaken all of the Zealand of Aotearoa, except Waitomo, but I don't know if that's actually part of the country in real life, and I'm not going to go check, so I'm just declaring it isn't. They also took Yugara and Pirongia, clearly pushing the line up. They also took Maingu Maragu last turn without taking Pirongia and with taking and losing Yugara. I really don't know how they keep taking that city and then not losing it when the Incans take the city directly to its west. Like, come on, Yupanqui, do better. Also, since it's not on the next slide, they also retook 4 cities in the Middle East, 2 in Yemen, Peshawar and Mazar-i-Sharif. Arapaho finally takes the fortress of Koshoy -23 Gon, the greatest of the shapes. How a polygon can have negative sides, I have no idea, but they made it work. And maybe it was their downfall, playing so hard with the laws of space and time. Geometry has its limits. Don't try to play God, Irataba. Just become the god you were always meant to be. Free yourself from the shackles of life. The cylinder is yours. No, I'm definitely not sad that they've been pushed down to Pyongyang and the city is surrounded and have, like, no units left and there's, like, 10 slides left and... yeah. Okay. Hold up. Timor-Leste is going way beyond what I thought. Those two were going back and forth for ages, with each side taking a lot of cities, but now it seems the Incans were just... stopped? Did they run out of ships? Like, are they getting closer and closer to the coast of South America, and it doesn't feel like Yupanqui can just easily push back anymore? Geez, Guzmão is really positioning himself back on the top spot after us rankers dropped them to 5th, barely a contender. But no, they are pulling it all back. Let's go! Vincent van Gogh's latest exhibit in the last Mojave city of Pyongyang is one of terror, of loneliness, of dread. His famous strokes used to bring forth the emotions of the war, pure and unfiltered, on the canvas. Each painting's description does not describe the paintings themselves, but of guns, bombs, mechs, and other weapons of war, along with someone they killed, and who that person was, their ideas, dreams, job, family. A sobering experience to anyone entering the exhibit, yet to those who have lived through the hell of the Arapaho war machine, find it indescribable, a visual of their deepest pains and traumas. To the common person, the exhibit is free, showing what they all have experienced. But to the rich, the politicians, the foreigners, well, the poors can't travel, of course, they all have to pay a hefty fee. They have to pay for the horrors of what they get to avoid, of what they don't have to experience, because there's no other way to force them to suffer in the same way. Van Gogh can't pick who has to fight. All he can do is present the horror of it all, and maybe, hopefully, get them to change just a little bit. Pop off, King! Guzmão decides at the end of the episode to really kick it into high gear, now almost entirely securing the South Pacific. Like, hot damn, look at that. In addition, they also take northern Burma from Afghanistan, and some of India back from Turkey. Neither of those appear on the mini-map, though. Also, the Incans took Waitomo again, so Guzmão still has a few Antarctic colonies to knock out to really secure things. Timor definitely number one. No one else comes close. R.I.P. to a real one, to the best one, to the defier of the odds, or, well, one of them, to the one with the gall, the one who said fuck it and still settled the Gobi when they died from it in every test, to the one who stole my heart and did better than anyone could expect. Mojave really did do way better than anyone thought they ever could. Nearly every single test they sent their settler to Central Asia and were so incredibly weak and just got rolled over. But this run, the true run, they fought their way through, still settled Central Asia, dominated the coast, marched into Japan as a true weeb, made an actual decent-sized colony out of Central Asia during total war, and let me draw them with the Miku hair. Damn, they played a good game. Yet I still think they deserved higher. First, maybe, of course, but more realistically, they should be getting 5th or 4th. Pour one out for the greatest. Bless the sub and bless the heavens. Bless the world with Mojave's presence. It's all downhill from here. Sun Ra, the legendary jazz artist who escaped the carnage at Kamanhulia, writes his last piece. His melodic piano and driving synth sounds give a soundtrack to the end of the world for the last of the Mojave, a somber tale and a somber tune. Beats that give the people a little bit of support in the wake of their end, the fallout in the hours, days, weeks, and months after the fall. Sun Ra wouldn't be able to escape the mechanisms of the Arapaho, following the same fate as so many of his fellow Mojave, but his music would live on, bringing hope to those who would survive, to those who were now under the thumb of a new government. Across the world in West Africa, Mali had actually managed to take back Kangaba and even Tegdaust a turn or two ago, but now are facing the Incans, taking both back and even taking Fez. The Incans may be losing in their west, but they are winning on this front. More importantly is that Mali finally took Bari and has secured those Mediterranean cities they lost so many slides ago. It's not really more important, but it's finally over. Jeez, they should have done that ages ago. Now they gotta go push out the Incans. Again. There's a large buildup of units in the Middle East. Will it be enough? Who knows? Anyways, this slide shows Turkey taking back a city from Brandenburg and Arapaho, but the slide minimaps missed Timor-Leste pushing all the way to Kandahar, which Turkey takes back. But Ataturk doesn't take back Sar and Sana'a, which were also taken. Maybe Thebes will fall to Timor-Leste before Mali. It's feeling more likely. to go back to the boring front for some reason, where Turkey took back one city, Erg 34 but are likely going to lose it soon. They also keep fighting Afghanistan over Kovu Aksi, but are yet to touch Avimota yet. You know, from the start of this episode, you wouldn't have expected Afghanistan to be down to 8 cities in China, stuck between 3 much, much greater powers. We also get a shot of the other city Turkey took back, Klaipeda. Not sure why we are getting these when we could look at how Timor-Leste took 4 cities from the Incans and are now in the Galapagos. Side note, I finally looked it up because the doc keeps getting mad about it. Apparently it is not Incans, but just Incas. And I've been getting that wrong this whole time, and I'm not going to go change it, so sucks for those of you who are pedantic about that spelling. I wonder if I got this wrong in my previous narrations too, or not. Anyways, Brandenburg is really trying to push on London, but is just failing. Their big army is just doing nothing. I suspect the complete lack of planes compared to Turkey's many, many planes. But you know, props to Frederick Willi for managing to go even with Turkey this entire war. Though I will say Mali has gone fairly even with Turkey, but also did it much more excitingly. Burgos has been shelled for years now, and a massive Incan army has set up around the city. Yet, because of the world, they can't do anything. The ice protects them. There's no way in. They haven't figured out how to paradrop. Isabella lives on another year, another episode. Forever shall they stand in their icy home, in safety from the world, but ignoring the bombs. Though, sadly, we won't get to have the nice narrative conclusion of ending where we started, here in Burgos, because there is one more slide. We end this glorious episode with the Arapaho war machine coming into conflict with the Timor-Leste war machine. Gusmão has really put himself on top of the world. Can he be stopped? I don't know. We'll have to find out next week. For now, the clash of metal crushes the lives of all they pass by. Bullets sing, and the flow of blood shows no end. Thank you all for reading. I hope you enjoyed what I wrote, got all the references, and I'll be back for narration for Mark X4, hopefully episode 5 again to keep the streak going. This game is almost over. I'm hoping Timor-Leste takes the crown. That would be the greatest of ironies, the greatest possible upset. I've been Orange, and since it's 10:30 p.m. here, konbanwa. Yes, I'm a weeb. I read it just fine. And this is Doc Ito as well. Good night, and I'll see you one more time.